40 years of storytelling. And now I see this as a wonderful opportunity to try something bold.
This is a new world for us, and we feel the pressure.
If anybody thinks they know what this is going to look like, I think they're wrong.
Thank you so much for inviting the Lucasfilm team for this collaboration. I've been a huge fan of the Porsche brand forever. And so this is kind of a very exciting day to see what our two teams can come up with together. Michael and I, our role is really to guide the designers to bring the best of both teams together to create one strong design. So what is Star Wars design? I often hear that a lot. George taught us that Star Wars design is about bold designs, simple designs. We ask ourselves, is it iconic? A good example of this is the TIE Fighter. It's bold, it's graphic, it looks like a logo. It's something that I can redraw very quickly. When the audience sees it on the screen, they only have a few seconds to know what it is, where the pilot sits, where it's going to go. Never design in a vacuum. Use research. Don't be afraid to use inspiration for your designs. The unique street lamps in Northern California helped to inspire Slave One. And the key thing to understand here is not about copying your inspiration. It's about how you interpret it. It's how you use research.
There's a lot of connection and similarity in the way we are thinking about design. Porsche design philosophy is based on 6 key elements. What are the major ingredients of a successful product? The proportion, the architecture, the height to width ratio. Proportions, proportions, proportions. You will recognize this element in all our products.
When I was a kid and drawing cars, I sent sketches to the ex-chief designer of Porsche, and he advised me to go to design school. After that, I got accepted as an intern, and the first day when you see all the cars in different colors, it was just a kid in a candy store. And that has been the love story till today. So this was basically our first concept study in 2015, and this was basically the base for the Taycan.
For Taycan,
so Taycan is a production version of this, this car.
This is awesome for me because Torres ship was based off of this exact car. It was for Resistance, so that show is based off of like racing ships. For every one of the characters, we loosely based their racing fighters on certain types of racing cars. I grew up in a small farm town in Kansas, and I never pictured being in this situation, although Star Wars was the first movie I ever saw in a movie theater. And then I remember we got a Starlog magazine, and that was the first time I kind of realized I could do this for a living.
Are you guys ready for the design brief? So let me spread this out. The idea is we're going to create a new class of vehicles. Imagine that it's going to be a blend between the X-Wing and the Y-Wing and the U-Wing with the Porsche Taycan. How do you blend the two? Because aesthetically they're very different. And so here are the specs. We can have a maximum of 4 engines or a minimum of 2. Crew can be about 2 people, but it can carry maybe 5. We should have a large cargo door for the other passengers and maybe 2 front entry doors, very much like the Taycan. We have to give the ship personality, so we're going to say it's a good guy ship. So it can't be, completely black. It can't look like Darth Vader's ship. We want to go more friendly. We will do like a week of blue sky iteration, just kind of thumbnail sketches, trying to come up with your best aspirational view of what this ship should be. We're going to compare notes, and then Michael and I will kind of help guide and choose a direction that we'll go in. From there, the two teams will work together as one to refine that design direction, with the goal that in 2.5 weeks' time, we will have a hero design that we will then finesse, and then we'll build as a practical model. So, any questions? Michael and I had talked about the idea that this should be like a sports car spaceship. And so what does that mean? That means that the shapes have to be very streamlined. You need a big engine to convey power.
We thought about how to arrange the turbines and the engines. We started putting them on the ends of the wings.
We noticed that the closer we bring the engines to the cabin, the sportier and more automotive. But you see as well, all the ships, they have a certain lightness. Yeah. Ever since I was small, I've been amazed by all the spaceship designs and played with X-Wings. This is definitely a dream project. We're used to working under pressure, but This time it's going to be an even bigger challenge.
It's going to be tough, but you know, we all speak the same language. We were all on that same wavelength. Yeah, exactly. It's like we're finishing each other's sentences. Already.
Hi.
Hello.
So Duke is here and Salah as well.
Hi.
Hi guys.
Can you see me?
Good morning.
Oh, there you are. You guys are dressed up. We should have changed.
When we left Germany, we basically started brainstorming.
We've spent a lot of time since then just virtually in the same room, seeing their images displayed on a giant screen. They're seeing our images, they're seeing our faces, they're able to look at our reactions to things.
And what I really would love to do is to hone in on a sort of a proportional design package that can kind of work. What we've done is actually pulled some really strong personality references. And so, for instance, I gave feedback for some of the designers where, maybe the wings could be configured a little bit differently to give it a little bit more power.
We explored different concepts and configurations in the beginning.
Porsche has these 4 fender shapes, but I turned them into wings.
I wanted the wings to be able to move sort of separately, independently from each other, a bit like a bird.
I just observed like a couple of insects and tried to play around with assembling them in a different position or in different angles. Here you see this is turning into this with a rotational axle here. This was also one of my favorite. It was a bit too complicated, but this goes up and later then also rotates.
Our goal for this absolutely is another iconic design, and I don't think Doug would settle for anything less, and I don't think the team would settle for anything less.
Because the project is in a really short time schedule, it's not making me nervous, but I think we have to sit down and give our best to make the fan groups of Porsche and Star Wars happy.
These are for the new movie. This is for Rise of Skywalker right here. This will be in, yeah.
Always wanted to do this.
And there's photo evidence.
When I was a kid, I loved Star Wars right away. Every Christmas we watched one episode of Star Wars. Nowadays we don't go to church, we go to the cinema. Basically, being part of a team creating a spaceship for Star Wars is like a dream come true.
Hey, welcome, man. Good to see you, man.
Good to see you. Great to see you.
Welcome. We brought the team from Porsche over here to Lucasfilm to sort of do the final phase in terms of deciding what the final design is going to be. And I'd say it's been really challenging. Our goal today and tomorrow is to really get into the styling and the details of it. My favorite process is I always like to take these and I like to just mark them up and cut out our favorites. So if there are details you guys really like, let's start to separate that out and almost like create a physical collage of our best elements. We're taking the digital form of the designs, now going old school, cutting and pasting, and there's a lot of discoveries because you'll have some very happy accidents.
I've never done that before. I've been a strictly digital artist, so I thought it was fantastic.
It's probably the fastest tool of showing your ideas to other people.
And the hot spot were horizontal in that way, so you're getting kind of the best of both worlds. You're getting that interesting engine shape that's not X-wingy.
That could really be interesting that you also have windows on the top.
When I'm critiquing a design, and especially in this case here, I'm looking for sort of a gut reaction, a first read. And part of my role is to really take all these disparate ideas and to see which ones can create a perfect hybrid of all the best ideas. And maybe it doesn't have to be that strong, but it reads so well.
In the beginning, our cabin designs were a bit wider. In the end, we said, no, you know what, it fits better for Porsche to have something more compact. Let's put the driver actually in the middle and then put the 2 co-pilots on the side. But now we can make everything more narrow, very much like a jet fighter or Formula 1 car. Also, just the way you sit in the vehicle, it has to be something Porsche typical, that you really have a sporty type of seating position.
Our package now is a really compact cabin for 3 people, and behind that there's a lot of power to make sure it's the fastest spaceship in the universe.
What I like very much when I saw the sketches this morning, I think the proportions should be lower and wider than instead of being high and narrow.
I like the direction where the design is going, but it really needs that Porsche flair. So I think everything that you're saying will be really wonderful. So this is a collage of all the best ideas, and it's a matter of taking all these different elements and consolidating. And the idea is here. And now our next goal is for me to communicate this to Renee, who's going to actually pull all these different elements together into a cohesive package.
I myself, I love details. My responsibility is to push this design to its final process, which is building the model fully detailed and fully realized. I hope I can convey shape that can be iconic. The pressure is mounting, but I'm used to pressure. Sometimes pressure is the best way to work.
I am really proud of the final design. The cockpit is a perfect blend of the Y-wing canopy and the greenhouse of the Porsche Taycan. From the side view, the canopy has a sloping roofline like a sports car. The tri-wings convey speed and power. From the front, the low intake scoops is directly from the Taycan with its iconic 8-lens headlamps. This new spaceship is elegant, beautiful, and fresh. It conveys raw power and speed, and I'm very excited to share the final design with fans worldwide.
The fact that we're getting to design a Porsche spaceship, it's crazy. This has definitely been a highlight of my career. This has been fantastic.